Greetings fellow Freeblades. In this video I'm going to be showing you some events that I played in this last week. I'll start off with the daily events. All of the ones I'm sharing I got legendary ranking for. For this first event, our knight is outfitted with the Centurion livery, which on kill gives us a chance to have a 15% damage bonus for 3 seconds. And it's equipped with a Gatling cannon, melt-a-gun, rocket launcher, and chainsword. These items have a legendary ranking, so for an event like this, use your Gatling cannon to clean up the big mobs of infantry, and you can throw a shot or two at some of the bigger targets if you've got the ammo. Otherwise, really focus on the melt-a-gun performance, because I find timing that melt-a-gun up is really important for events that use this combination. Use multiple controlled bursts to avoid overheating. And then of course, be selective about using your rocket launcher to break through some of those tougher enemies. I came 21st in this event, earning me a legendary ranking for placing in the top 50. My score was quite a ways from the top players, so there's definitely more improvement if I had wanted to keep playing through the event. But for getting rewards, I just needed to place in the top 50. From this event, I earned the Centurion livery and 80 gold. For this second daily event, our knight is outfitted with the Retribution Incarnate livery, which gives us a chance on kill to get a 10% damage bonus for 3 seconds. And our knight's equipped with the same combination as the previous event, the Gatling cannon, melt-a-gun, rocket launcher, and chainsword. But our gear only has an epic ranking this time, so pretty much everything is the same, just worse. Overall, the enemies weren't too hard to fight with this event, but what I found difficult was keeping my multiplier going. It's a very cramped map, so there's not a lot of view range to hit the various destructible objects. So I learned from my first playthrough which destructible objects to leave until which point. Even with focusing on that, my multiplier dropped from 4 to 2 midway through the event. Fortunately, I was able to recover it quite quickly, and so it didn't have too much of an impact on my final score. In this event, I placed 22nd, earning me a legendary ranking for being in the top 50, and that was good enough to earn me a legendary chainsword and 80 gold. One of the main things I learned from my first playthrough of that event was that using my rocket launcher on the Gorkanaut didn't allow it to recharge in time to face the Squiggoth right at the end, so I made sure to switch midway through killing the Squiggoth to destroy the Orc truck, which was enough to guarantee that the 8x multiplier would still be active when the Squiggoth went down. For this next event, our Freeblade is outfitted with the Unalloyed Victory livery. This gives us a chance on kill for a 15% bonus damage for 3 seconds. And it's equipped with a battle cannon, gravitation gun, rocket launcher, and thunderstrike gauntlet. So this is actually a gravitation daily event. Same category, but your knight just gets a gravitation gun, and the gravitation gun is also the legendary reward. This was overall a fairly smooth run through the event. However, I did miss time destroying a couple of the objects, which left my multiplier in jeopardy at 2 separate occasions. Fortunately, I was able to recover from both incidents quickly, and they weren't at the boss battles. The gravitation gun is really nice to use, so it becomes less about knight performance and more about just watching all those multipliers. In my first playthrough of this event, I used the gravitation gun a little too aggressively off the start, and that hurt my multiplier because there just weren't the destructible objects around to keep it going. I earned a legendary ranking for this event and received 80 gold and the legendary gravitation gun. Overall, we got to use a very powerful knight for the enemies we were facing. So for the most part, it was just about those short controlled bursts with the gravitation gun to keep the multipliers going. It sounds simple, but on a map like that where everything's really spread out, I find it sometimes quite challenging, and it really starts to test my patience at some points. Our Freeblade is using the same livery for this next gravitation event. However, this time we have it equipped with a Gatling cannon, gravitation gun, missile launcher, and chainsword. So for this event I was doing some experimenting. I was trying to get a point comparison between destroying the bosses quickly and executing them in close combat. In order to get the extra bonus, you have to get a critical strike, which can be a hard test of your gamer reflexes with some of these lower quality weapons. I didn't end up really getting the nice comparison I was looking for. The scores, multipliers, and streaks were all just messed up and different on each of my attempts. On my most successful event, I actually had a lower multiplier on the first close combat. However, my other 2 encounters with the bosses, I ended with 1 executing strike. So it's just a nice reminder when you're playing through these events, even if your strategy goes a little haywire, still keep with it because you can find points to make up for it in different ways. I ended up placing 13th overall in this event, which I'm very happy with considering I was doing a bunch of experimenting. So this event earned me a legendary ranking, 80 gold, and another legendary gravitation gun. Now here's one of those dreaded tier 6 events where the legendary ranking and rewards only goes to the top 5 players. I find these events a little unpleasant to do when trying to get those higher rankings. Having it top 5 makes it a little too competitive for my liking, and a lot of the times I notice that the people who win are using multiple accounts, which allows them to get those extra attempts in without having to use up a large stockpile of gold like I did in this event. This ended up being an unhealthy obsession for me trying to get into the top 5 of this particular event. So I'm still trying to perfect my skills for these tier 6 events, but this will give you a good idea of some of the crazy intensity that these events can have. My Freeblade is outfitted with the Blood God livery, giving me a chance on kill to restore 12% of my armor over 12 seconds, so it really helps you stay at full health at the end of the event. And it looks awesome, and it's equipped with a lightning cannon, gravitation gun, auto cannon, and thunderstrike gauntlet, all of which have a 420 war gear rating. Here I have the thunderstrike gauntlet, which will make it a little easier to get those critical hits to get the execution bonuses I'm looking for. Sadly, I only placed 6th in this event, one spot away from earning that legendary ranking. And I was pretty close too, only about 8,000 points short. I think the real difference maker was that I messed up a couple of my destructible objects, so I lost my 8 times multiplier right in the middle of the event. I had something strange happen on this particular playthrough. I got a massacre bonus right at the start before killing the first Lord of Skulls, and I was not able to replicate that bonus in any of my other attempts, no matter how hard I tried. And so my highest base score going into this particular playthrough was about 140,000, and with those few random streaks I ended up at 149,000. I'll try not to be a poor loser about that, but my knight is not happy with me. If you're familiar with the lore of these knights, then you know that the voices in my throne will be yelling at me a lot. Well, that's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed seeing those daily gravitation and tier 6 events, and hopefully it'll help you earn some legendary ranking in your own gameplay. And of course, don't forget to take your Freeblade into the photo mode to get an awesome picture, or 10. Stay tuned for more awesome Warhammer gaming videos.